Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Wow, inappropriate in our ear. Welcome to Friday. This is Run It Back. It's too much. Michelle, Chandler, Georges, and Louis there on the end.
Who? Kids me every time.
It's Georges.
Did you put ears on my name?
Louis, yeah. I like the French.
My mom's gonna love that.
Yeah, well, we love your mom. We got basketball to talk about last night. This series is a little wonky, I'm not gonna lie to you, but we will get through it together, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, OKC. First, you get the trophy. There's a big old MVP hardware for SGA. And then, a nice little 118-103 victory, a 2-0 lead as they go up to Minnesota. He finishes with 38 and 8. Chet with 22 and 4. Jalen Williams had 26. Ant finishes with 32. Jaden McDaniels had 22 points, 4 of 8 from 3. But bit of a blowout in this one, despite shooting below 28% from 3 and being outscored in bench points. That's OKC, by the way, in the win. It's really just, Lou, we'll start with you. It just seems like OKC's just that much better than everybody.
It's levels. It's levels. And, me personally, I thought their best series was going to come from Denver. And obviously that was the case. Denver taking them to 7. They breezed through Memphis. It looks like they're going to breeze through Minnesota. I expect Minnesota to fight back, but it looks like, they're going to breeze through these guys. And again, sometimes it doesn't show up in the numbers, but when your bench doesn't play how you want them to play and you're playing against a better bench, you expect your starters to step up, and that's what happened. Oklahoma City, they had 3 guys with 22+ in their starting lineup. Minnesota has 3 guys with less than 6 points in their starting lineup, and so very top-heavy, very, very unmatched. Usually Minnesota has matchups that are favorable to them. They can use McDaniels on the defensive end. Shai doesn't care who's guarding him right now. He's in a magical moment right now where, he's just playing at a high level. It doesn't matter what obstacles you're putting in front of this team and him individually, they're going to keep rolling.
Someone call those 3 guys on the Thunder a big 3, Lou.
A trio.
I mean, by definition, it's a trio.
By technical terms, to me personally, I think it's SGA and the guys. I think that's how I look at it. That's how they market it. And because again, some of these guys, Jalen Williams has turned into a very, very talented all-star caliber player. Chet Holmgren has turned into an all-star caliber guy. He is soon to get his as well. But they didn't come in together collectively.
Right.
They were never billed as a collective. That's why I'm kind of fighting the trio thing or anything. So I still think SGA is the best individual player on that team, and then everybody else does their part.
And by the way, you're not wrong, and I think that's how they look at themselves. There's a pecking order there, and there is roles, and everyone has mastered their roles. And even when the team shoots 27% from 3, it doesn't matter because they shoot 50% from the field. Right. They turn you over 14 times to their 6 turnovers. They outbeat you 47-44 in the paint. So they're getting turnovers, they're causing turnovers, they're getting out in transition, and they're getting easy buckets. No matter if they're hitting shots, if they're not, they still can beat you in so many different ways. And it starts with their defense. They get out in the break. I think they were 16-9, the fast break. So every single offensive statistical category, they dominate, and it's all stemmed from their defense. Their defense is so, so good.
I don't like you guys writing off Minnesota like this because you know how hard it is to play in Minnesota, and Oklahoma City does what Oklahoma City does in Oklahoma City. So,
and the Timberwolves are.
Do you really mean this with all your heart?
No, I'm being serious because Minnesota is a hostile environment. Like we've seen it.
And they're 4-1 at home in the playoffs, Minnesota. So they are a much better.
Do you see that team right now?
I just think there's layers. There's a reason why Oklahoma City was 16 games better than everybody this year. They're showing it in the postseason. It's not you can put a lot of teams in this spot. It's my situation, how I feel about it isn't necessarily Minnesota. But again, when you got 3 guys, especially your second, we're talking about a trio. Julius Randle, we can't do 6 points. We just can't do it. We can't afford it at this point. You can't not be in the game during the fourth quarter. I know this thing kind of got lopsided, but these are the guys that need to step up. Mike Conley is your veteran leadership. He got to give you those open 3-pointers where he's been valuable in the playoffs. So it's not a matter of me writing them off, but OKC plays better basketball. And like Chandler just said it, if I'm going to shoot 27% from 3, you can't shoot 28 from 3, especially allowing me to shoot 50% from the field within the 3-point line. You know, from there, they find so many different ways to beat you. They made Minnesota go into a zone last night. That's something we haven't seen from them. So when you see a team starting to adjust so early in a series and you win 2 convincing games, I'm not writing you off. I just think this is a better basketball team.
I just think there is a pathway for Minnesota to win with going back home. Like, you watch some parts of the game where they made Oklahoma City shoot threes. Like, if you pack the paint and don't let them get in the paint, make them shoot threes, I think there's a chance. If you clean up your third quarters, the third quarter in the first game, I think they scored 18 points. Last night they scored 21.
George,
There it is again.
I'm getting my own line used on me. Golly.
The problem is, last night they actually played better and they attacked them better, and Anthony Edwards made good decisions where he found McDaniels in the corner for some threes, and they didn't make the shots, but I think they had the recipe for success last night. They just got outmanned, out-talented. The Thunder's defense is so stifling. No matter how many counters you make and how many different sets you run, they're still going to get in the passing lanes. They're still going to be physical with you. So it's almost like the Thunder have a counter for their offense with their defense. Like it's
a lot of times they don't even have to counter though, Chandler, because they turn good to great shots. Like they never fight for open shots. They wait until we find something good and we're going to take the best available shot. That's a dangerous team to play, and they are efficient when they do it. They just shot 50 from the field. So it doesn't matter about the 3-point line, especially if you're going to eliminate yourself from the 3 and we're going to shoot damn near the same thing percentage-wise, then we're gonna find other ways to beat you, and they did that.
It just feels like the Thunder can win a game with not everyone playing their best. It feels like the Timberwolves have to be clicking on all cylinders. Their bench has to be good. Julius Randle can't have 6 points. Gobert's got to have a double-double. And Anthony Edwards, again, 12 for 26 last night. He was more aggressive at least, and I thought he played much better last night. He was more aggressive. He got downhill. He put pressure. But there were so many possessions where he's trying to get by Cason Wallace. He's trying to get by Lou Dort, and he can't. And this dude is so good one-on-one, but their help side, their weak side is so good. They move their feet so well. Alex Caruso did a great job guarding bigger guys. So this defense really is, I think it's one of the best defenses I've ever seen.
Oh, well, hold that thought.
It's unbelievable.
Because let me give you some numbers for that right here. NBA single playoff record already for turnover differential. It's plus 91. Oof. They only have 13 games so far for that number. Kawhi's Raptors and MJ's Bulls are second and third in this
they won the championship?
Yeah, they were pretty good. So I ask you this: when you look at something like that, sticking with the defense, do you credit players? Is this a coaching thing? What is this?
Well, I think it's first the system is great. The principle is having all these guys buy in and be on the same page and care about defense. You wouldn't believe how far effort goes. And so even last night, I think when they were during the SGA's MVP speech, like, these guys are always ready to play. You throw in a Mitchell out of nowhere, he's ready to play. You throw in Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe. These guys don't care if they just got played 20 seconds, if they didn't play last game. They're always ready, and they have a level of professionalism. Whether that's Sam Presti, whether that's Daigneault, whether that's how these guys are all made up, and they just happen to hit the lottery on all these guys, high character guys, but they're all just bought in. And I'm sure they think deep down when they go home, their friends, you could be averaging 20 on this, and maybe that's going to happen when these guys go and they leave and go to a different situation. But right now, they just seem like they're a team, they're connected, and they're all bought into the defensive end, which is rare.
Yeah, they got it all.
Especially that young. Like, you care about defense for that long? You care about how many points you scored, what everyone asks you. I feel like they don't care about that.
Yeah. No,
and what you said was right. They have a complete buy-in, right? Like, they do have individual guys that can sit down and guard and take away some of your best players. But they're always going to make you play in the crowd. You got to earn everything that you get when it comes to OKC. That's what makes them a dangerous team. They don't care about their man scoring 20. They know that the ball scores. They always swarm that basketball, whether it's going downhill. All threes are contested, and they've made it difficult for Minnesota. And Julius Randle, he has to be the guy that breaks that wall down. He can't rely on just three-point shooting. You know, he shot the hell out of the ball all playoffs. The one game that you don't get it going from 3, it was like you kind of floated away from the game. That is a great opportunity for you now to play with your back to the basket and become that bull in the china shop, that bully that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when Oklahoma City goes small and they put Caruso on Julius Randle or Caruso on Naz Reid, those guys need to be forces and trying to get in the paint, because guess what? Oklahoma City is going to swarm, and that's where you're going to have these opportunities to kick out, and then you just keep your fingers crossed that some of these threes are going to go in. But with that being said, Oklahoma City's defense, like, they have great individual defenders, but then as a team, it's like a collective job. So they're not leaving their one best defender out on an island. It's like, we're here right next to you, right on the side of you, And that makes it really tough to score.
And there's never a mismatch. There's never someone on the floor. We're like, all right, we're going to attack this guy. Let's get this guy up in a pick and roll and go at him and try and expose their defense. They're all a unit. They're all on the same page. They're all just one. And it makes it so hard for any team to score.
As a matter of fact, they're giving you the mismatch because they keep putting Caruso on bigger guys.
Yep.
They're giving you the
Jokic
mismatch, and it's not going your way. Caruso, he's being disruptive. He's in your passing lanes. He's attacking your dribble when you're trying to back him down. He's being everything that you need him to be. So they're offering the mismatches. So even if you come into a pick and roll and we switch or we go into our rotations, now you have a bigger body on him, and that creates an issue for any offense. And it showed in this Minnesota series. Think about how they've been able to score with everybody. These guys can score in bunches, but when you can hold Julius Randle to a 6, you can hold Mike Conley to a 2 or a 4, Rudy Gobert not having an impact in this game, you're going to have a long series, even if you're going back home.
Yeah.
I have a question about hypothetical hats and the word trio. Now, I don't want you guys to sort of interpret it as the big three. It's just the literal definition of trio. We're looking at SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. They had an 86 points combined last night. So are we looking, I'll start with you, at the best trio in basketball? And now, starting next season, like, what are we looking at right now?
Yes, just look at the team success they've had. Look at the individual success they've had. They were talking about all-stars. They're all going to be max players. And you can look across the league. There's a lot of talent, right? There's a lot of older guys. I thought Philly's trio was going to be really good with Maxey, Paul George, Joel. No. Kevin Durant, Booker, Bradley Beal. Didn't really pan out like they thought. Boston Celtics, I don't even know who would be that third. Would it be Derek White? Would it be Drew Holiday? There's a lot of talent across the league, but if you look right now and you look at production and you look at potential and you look at wins, it's hard not to look at this three and obviously think it's the best trio now. It's the best trio for the future. Some talent in San Antonio, and obviously there's going to be some moves made, but yeah, and like Lou said, we touched on it before the show, they're not a trio. But if you look at the best 3 players in the NBA on the same team, I'd have to pick these 3 number 1.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you saying that. I'm more on Lou's side, though. It is SGA and others. But at the same time, yes, if this is the best team, these are the 3 best players, and they're showing that right now.
On both sides of the ball, too. Think about it. How often is Jalen Williams is the all-defensive team, and he's an all that matters to have two-way players and. All of them. Everyone, they have 14 two-way players on their team.
That's huge.
Lou Dort was on there, too, and Alex Caruso. Did he even get mentioned in
Mason Wallace and Caruso got smoked. They both could have been on there, just didn't play enough minutes.
That's an insane luxury to have. Lou, you sort of threw that in there like a throwaway line, but Denver, was that going to be the closest thing OKC has? And let's look ahead, because they're going to get Indy or they're going to get New York. So does it feel like Denver was their toughest competition?
I think OKC knew that. I think if they felt like if we can tough out this series, we may walk to the championship. And that's no disrespect to anybody. You know, I would have said that before they even got this matchup with Minnesota. It could have went the other way. They felt like that was probably going to be their toughest battle today. You know, you look how they played against Memphis. Then you go 7 games with Denver. Now you look at it again. 2 blowout wins, very convincing. I don't see them slowing down. Let's say they even do drop 1 in Minnesota. You're going back home with a 3-1 lead now. And we know how tough it is to play in OKC. So, again, they are separating themselves from the pack. This is a team that you're going to have to deal with for years and years to come. I don't care what you call them, trio, duo, it don't matter. OKC in 4, OKC in 5, but this team has a complete buy-in. They know that this is a moment. And I want to shine a light on SGA if he needs it. This is a great, great opportunity for him this year to cement himself in a different class of his peers right now. Okay. Like, you have a bunch of guys. You got Holly, you got Edwards, you got Luka, you got Jason Tatum, you got Brown. So many of these guys, Jason Tatum and Brown, they've reached that next level by getting a ring. SGA with an MVP and a ring in the season, he puts himself in that category of guys, and you create some separation. And I feel like they know that their moment is right now, and they're taking full advantage of it, and they're not letting go.
By the way, I said this in the Denver series. I think that Game 7, we're looking at the NBA champions in that series.
Yeah, whoever came out of that.
And I think Denver would have been more of a fight for Denver against Minnesota, and I still think Denver would have come out of that. But that Game 7 was so pivotal that. Looking across, I mean, Knicks aren't beating the Thunder 4 times, and it's hard to imagine the Pacers are either, but at least the Pacers' offense can go and can shoot 50% from 3 and give them trouble. We're getting way far ahead of ourselves, but The Pacers are the only team in the Eastern Conference that have a chance of beating them.
On the SGA thing of it all, he's the only player in Thunder history with 5 games consecutively of 30 or more points. And we've already done the Jalen Brunson greatest Knick of all time, and here we are. Let's just go ahead and do this one. George.
Yes.
Greatest Thunder of all time.
You gotta say George like that.
Because I don't know how to say his name anymore. G-Dog.
We've been together a week. I thought we grew close. Thought I was going to stay on for another week, but yeah, no, I mean, no disrespect to.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, whatever.
I'm sorry.
No disrespect to Russ or KD, but if SGA brings them a championship, I would have to say he's probably the greatest Thunder.
And the manner in which he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you win MVP, you win a championship. They haven't seen a championship. I mean, it's going to happen for quite a while, I feel like.
Yeah, that's the key, is if they get one this year, they're not stopping anytime soon. This dude's 26 years old. This core is going to be together for so long. And even if they lose 1 or 2, like I said, they're 14, 15 deep. They have all their picks. They have all their assets. So they're just going to continue to get better. So it's hard not to think that this dude is the greatest Thunder of all time. As good as Russ was with the MVP, triple-doubles, and Kevin Durant and James Harden, like, this guy's a different level when you win a championship, especially in this city, in this market. Like, he will mean everything to them. And like I said, and George said, it's going to be multiple.
Okay, but if that's the case, then if Jalen Brunson wins, is he the greatest?
I think
he's officially like, yeah, like.
I mean, Walt Frazier has a couple of rings, right? Like, I feel like.
Does Tyrese Halliburton pass Reggie Miller for greatest Pacer?
If they win?
Yeah.
It's the winning, I think.
All of this is about winning.
You get a ring. You get a ring, it puts you in a different category.
It's all situation.
Absolutely.
I think
especially in places
ring puts you in the Hall of
Fame.
Ring puts you. That ring means a lot.
But you brought up Jalen Brunson. We can have our opinions. New York City is going to have a different one. Clyde Frazier is New York Knicks basketball. Willis Reed is New York Knicks basketball. So if we're having that conversation, we're talking about legend, iconic guys way, way back. We're not having a conversation about, you know, the recents, the Patrick Ewings, the Carmelo Anthonys, all of those guys. We're talking about the legends of the past.
I mean, we had Walt Frazier on the show when we were in New York, and he's like, we were asking him about the current crop of dudes and if they're the best. He's like, they don't have these, and he showed us his rings.
So the idea.
Yeah, like he's part of the conversation.
My bad, Walt. My bad.
But it will be a conversation, just if they can figure this out. SGA is frustrating a lot of people. So we already saw in the first game, Ant had the moment where he threw the ball at him and got teed up. Yesterday we get a Jaden McDaniels moment who gets a flagrant, and then he talked about it after the game. Here he is.
With Shai, was there just a little frustration boiling over, or what kind of?
Nah, I just wanted to foul him for. I wasn't even mad. I just had fouls to use.
Okay, that's it.
I love it.
You like that, Lou?
I do. I like it. Just be honest. I had fouls to give. I gave one. It is what it is.
Straight up.
And yeah, just a straight push.
But Lou, you don't have any idea how old Jaden McDaniels is, too?
Like 24.
Dude, he's 24 years old. I thought he was 27, 28.
Nah,
this dude is such a stud.
I'm close. I'm close by the McDaniels family. I wouldn't say I'm close to them, but shout out to Vic. He's done some work with them, so you know he knows the temperament of these young guys. Him and his brother as well. But he just told you I had fouls to give. I gave one, and who better to shove right now to get a cheap shot in on the best player? You know, this is basketball. This is playoff basketball, so I don't have any issues with it.
And think about how frustrating we get and fans get watching it.
Sure.
Imagine playing it and guarding it, being the one that's getting baited into it. So, like, you played against, like, it's annoying.
But, gee, imagine doing this and getting zero reaction from anybody.
Yeah.
That actually is crazy now that I think about it. Like, he
Oh,
did
you mean
push him
like
down
his-
to the ground,
No
and, like,
problem.
nobody
Nobody
ran
ran
over
over there.
there.
Nobody ran
Just
over
gonna
him.
get up and do it again.
Yeah, what's that about?
But I'll tell you this,
Just gonna kick your ass. It doesn't matter. It's just gonna kick your ass.
SGA has shot 29 free throws in the last 2 games, and some of them have been like iffy, so I understand why Jaden McDaniels actually was like, actually count this one, because
make it worth
all
it.
these little ticky-tacky ones that they are calling, you know, SGA shooting free throws, I would be frustrated too. The guy he not only is he shooting free throws, he's 22 of 48 from the field. Like, I'd be frustrated if I'm a defender and I'm not stopping this guy. Like, I'd be frustrated.
We had that conversation yesterday. You could talk about foul baiting all you want to. I'm still scoring this basketball at a high clip. You still got to stop me. You can't get under my skin. You can't do any of those things. You just got to deal with me. That's why I think this team, we might be looking at a sweep, gentleman sweep at best in this series because of how they're playing. What do you see it going?
If you're Chris Finch, what do you do differently with this guy? Do you play more physical? Do you box and one him? Like, or do you pick him up?
They tried his own.
The fourth quarter, they were running two at him and making him get off it. I think there's got to be a little bit. You got to mix it up because
make Jalen Williams have 40. Like,
SGA is so smart.
I don't even think they
get apart.
I'm sorry.
Outside of that,
I don't think they even get to that place. If you're going to run two guys at SGA, they're going to play in the middle of the court, and then guys are going to cut behind you. They don't wait. Again, they don't wait for you to take big shots. They're not relying on if we're going to make shots. No, we're going to attack the basket. We're going to take what you give us. So if you're going to give us the mid-range, we're going to take it. You want to run two guys and give up these back doors and we're going to attack the rim, we're going to take it. They're not going to fight any pressure.
Well, at this rate, tell me if I'm wrong. I would rather have someone else beat us than SGA have 30-plus points.
But that's the problem. Like Lou said, they go to zone yesterday. Then Chet finds the holes in the zone, and Lou Dort cuts back door, and he has like they have so many. They
but at least try that.
So smart.
They don't.
No, I'm saying I get what he's saying. Like at least.
You're right.
Yeah.
But again, when you're playing against a team that's just as smart as you, and we're gonna everything that you do, we have a counter to it. We don't care if you're gonna send guys to SGA, they value 2 points. They don't value SGA's 2 points.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about OKC.
The team.
They just want the points. They want what you're gonna give us. So again, if you're gonna run two guys at them and you're gonna give backdoor layups after 2G, what's your coach gonna do? We out of that. Now we're going back to our regular scheduled program, and the court is back open for SGA.
You're right on that, but at the same time, I can't sit there and watch SGA go for 30 points.
But it's not lack of trying. They're trying everything. Again, they
get frustrated.
They threw out a zone right there. They pushing, shoving.
They're going to have to do something different. So game 3, they're going to have to try something different.
He also
we'll
had 8 assists, 1 turnover
That's
last night. So you
tough.
can't even speed the dude up. He takes care of the ball. He makes the right read. He gets off the ball quick. As soon as they cross half court last night a couple times, they threw a second guy at him. Off the ball, swing, drive baseline, dunk. Like, they have a counter for everything.
I know, but in periods of the game, like you watched the first half of the first game, right? And SGA was frustrated. He was 2 for 12. Like, what does that look like if you can somewhat try and simulate that for a whole course of the game? Running 2 at him, keeping 2, making him shoot or not shoot, give the ball up to other guys.
They had 2 other guys with 22+.
You guys just don't want to hear.
No, but listen, check this out.
Going home.
Check this out, though, G. If Quinn Snyder, your coach, if you tell Quinn before a game, we're going to play with 14 turnovers for the game, he'll say, I'll take that. I got a pretty good shot at winning the game. OKC has 6 to counter that. That's almost impossible. It's guys out there that have 6 turnovers by themselves. Yeah. So everything that you feel like you do well, they make their adjustments and they do it better. It's tough. It's tough. It's hard to beat.
Okay, let's try to figure out the Minnesota side of things because Julius Randle, everyone agreed he was going to be the key for this team, and we've seen him be great in the playoffs so far, first 2 rounds, but then he has 6 points, 2 of 11 from the field yesterday, and to have the worst game of the playoffs when they need you the most, Lou, has to be a problem and can't happen again.
Yeah, and again, my opinion is I think he allowed the three-point line to be the end-all, be-all for him. He got to put more pressure on that rim. Now, he only shot 0 for 3 from 3, but think about the other games that we've seen. He's gotten off to great starts. Probably his first shot or his second shot, it's a three-pointer made. That's getting his juices flowing. He uses that three-point line to his advantage. Now, when you take that away, when you miss your first one, you miss your second one, you may miss a mid-range, you may miss a bunny at the rim. Now you're in your head about what am I to do successfully. I think Julius should have pushed through that. I also feel like if OKC has the lead that they had, and I'm Chris Finch, let him go shoot it out. Throw him back in the game in the fourth quarter. Go shoot it out. Go find your rhythm. You don't bench a guy at that point of the game, especially when it's kind of already out of hand. You've been getting handled for 3 quarters. It's not like you've made a run to make this game feel like it. I think OKC was pretty comfortable throughout the course of this whole game. Allow Julius to go out there, figure it out going into game 3, where you can kind of have some momentum going into back on your home court. Now he's going into this game in his own head.
Thinking about it, and I got to have a big game. I got to have a big game. Now you got a guy thinking about himself opposed to team. Yeah, as a shooter, it's almost like the worst thing that you don't make a 3 because you're going to the next one like, God, I really want this first one to go in. And then you're like, well, maybe I got to get the second one. And next thing you know, you're forcing up shots when we all know what Julius Randle does. Like you talked about the other day, bull in a china shop, head down, get into the rim. And I think that's what he needs to get back to. And, you know, you take the open threes, but don't end-all, be-all isn't making threes for you in this series.
In game one, that's how he got going early. I think he had 4 threes in the first quarter or
Yeah.
something. And but he doesn't need to settle for that. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. When you put a smaller guy on him, even when Chet's on him, you have an advantage with your strength and your physicality. Go through his chest, don't go around him, don't settle for jump shots, and then his whole game opens up. Then he can start taking it from the outside. Then he can face you up. Then you can play through him in the pocket and do a 2-man game with him and Ant. Anthony Edwards also, he was one of 9 from 3 last night. So shots, I think, are gonna fall. You can't shoot 28% from 3 and expect to win. These guys and they got good looks. And I do think Ant played much better, more downhill, more aggressive last night. Yeah. They just shot 28% from 3, and a lot of them were wide open threes. So as good as Oklahoma City's defense is, they did miss some wide open threes that could have changed the whole whole game.
I like how you said you can't shoot 28% from 3 and win. And OKC did exactly that.
They did 27.
And as physical of a player that Julius is, you should be shooting 6 to 8 free throws on accident.
Yeah.
That's just by being active
free throws
on the
isn't
board.
enough.
Yeah, only 2 free throw attempts last night. So again, that tells me that his aggression went out the door when the 3-pointer went out the door. It got to be the other way around. You got to use your aggression to stretch the defense out to make them guard you from the 3-point line, opposed to being the other way around.
Also, does part of him feel
Mental?
like he got benched in the fourth quarter? Like how's that look going?
We're not going there. We're staying focused on game.
But how does that feel? Like,
I mean, but that's fair because Chris Finch was asked post-game, why did he not play fourth quarter minutes? He was asked that. So now that is also a thing.
that is a storyline that you don't need down.
And I worry about
right now,
Julius
going
Randle
home.
with the mental stuff.
Telling his family to leave with 6 minutes on the clock. Like this is not
like
what
that.
you want going home when you need to be confident and
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
I'm having flashbacks to New York. I don't like it at all. We're going to take a quick break. The all defensive teams have been named. We will dissect it one by one on the other side.
Run it up, run it back.
Okay. It's out. It's official. The all defensive teams have been named. There you go. First team: Mobley, Daniels, Dort, Green, Thompson. Not the Pistons, Thompson. All right, fair enough. We're gonna, you know what, Chandler? They're out there. We can start this bad boy now. What do you think overall?
On the second team, I think
OKC.
they gotta find room for Jaden McDaniels, right? Like how is he?
Who are you taking off then?
I don't want to discredit any of these guys. They're all great defenders. But I mean,
You want to take someone
you're
off.
gonna put a Portland Trailblazer on there who finished in the bottom 3 that clearly didn't defend that well. That kid's a stud, and I know he's bringing in possibly 2 or 3 first-round picks as trade value this summer, which is crazy. But
Dang.
they're all deserving. Jalen Williams also, he's a stud. He defends. I think when I think of the defensive team of the Thunder, I think of Caruso and Casey Wallace. Honestly, before I think of Jalen Williams, they just don't play enough minutes. But I think they got it pretty right. And let's not forget, Wemby would be all over this board in Defensive Player of the Year if he was healthy.
You don't have to remind me.
That was his about halfway through the season. But McDaniels is the only beef I have. The guy guards the best player on the best team every single night, and they're in the Western Conference Finals, and their defense is great, and he's versatile. I think he's got to find his way on there.
Does everyone agree that was the one sticking point on the chart that everyone's like, meh?
I'm just happy I saw Dyson Daniels up there.
Look at the segue that you just did.
He's
No Evan Mobley love?
no, I'm happy for him.
No Celtics.
Evan,
No
Evan.
Celtics. No Celtics.
I ain't
on
a
there?
salty.
Celtics
I ain't
on
a
there.
salty ex, Evan. I'm happy for you, bro.
No Drew Holiday or Derek White on there.
No
They're a
Celtic.
great defensive
You've
team.
known Dyson Daniels 10 minutes. That's crazy.
I like who likes me, man.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. There you go. All right, George. It's time for you to talk about your teammate, Dyson Daniels. Talk to me. Strengths, perimeter. What's great about him?
Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. Someone that can guard on the perimeter and create on-ball turnovers. He just steals the ball where guys are dribbling in front of him, where you can't ever take that for granted, right? You're going into games, and he's averaging 3 steals a night. As you see right here, some of the other team's best players are ending games with 3, 4 turnovers just because of him. I've never seen anything like it, and he's a hell of a defender.
Do you guys actually call him the Great Barrier Thief, or no?
What do you call him?
Dyson?
D-man?
Boring.
You got to chill, Chandler. But no, we don't call him the Great Barrier Thief, but he does have a cool Australian accent. And,
It's points.
great
Sounds
dude.
smart.
It'll
He's a
always
great
get you
dude.
points. Lou, you have any Dyson Daniels love? I mean, you do like to represent Atlanta when you're up here. I know.
You know what I will say about Dyson Daniels?
Yeah.
We had some fun in Vegas one particular night, and I was very impressed with the young man. I was
Really?
He performed.
So he's a stud off the court.
What the?
Means more to me.
I was very impressed.
You
with the
should
young man.
elaborate, because I got to be honest. People with minds like mine are like, "What are you talking about right now?"
That's okay.
You got some Lou Williams.
You got some Lou Will. It is.
Good for him.
It is.
I didn't see that.
His
either.
repertoire.
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
At
I didn't see that.
22.
Very impressive young
The
man.
accent, guys. We're suckers for the accent every single time. Is he the best perimeter defender? Let's get it back on track.
I think so.
Anybody disagree?
Yeah.
He's got a
head-to-head one-on-one
I
defender.
mean, Lou Dort, he's great. Drew Holiday, he's not even being on there.
Shout out to Lou Dort too. Lou Dort
Dort's
gave,
insane.
Shout out.
gave Scott a bloody nose yesterday, then whacked his
Right off
teammate
the
as well.
How about Scott Foster getting 2-piece, but kicked in the stomach by Julius?
course,
You know,
Scott
Chris Paul stood up somewhere.
I know.
cheering
No,
after
he
that.
was at
He was
the
at the
game.
game.
Chris Paul was
Yeah,
at
that's
the
right.
game.
God, we
courtside.
need to see his reaction when that happens.
Which that's true. Why didn't
Yeah,
director give us a
cameraman.
shot?
The cameraman was supposed to be
Come
on top of that.
dudes.
Hilarious.
Is Dyson Daniels untouchable in the? I hate to talk about trading.
Yeah, Lou. Moving on to you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're trying to create an identity on the defensive end, if you're the Atlanta Hawks, you'd be crazy to trade this man. Instead of that, I think you build around him. You put some other defensive pieces around him. Obviously, you know what you can get on the offensive end. You know, they're going to have their fair share of things to figure out this summer, but Dyson Daniels ain't one of them.
And also with Trae Young being able to be himself offensively, who better than Dyson Daniels, one of the best perimeter defenders, to kind of free him up, take on that ownership of guarding the best scorer on every single
You don't think they would ever try to move Trae Young and figure something out?
Can we change the subject?
Not you. I'm not even talking to you.
Dude, he's sitting right there.
Yeah.
Just-
next thing you know, Chandler's gonna be like, you should trade George.
You know they're going to throw him in there in the trade.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah,
Fine, I'll
George,
move on.
just sit it
getting
out,
awkward for
because they'll
everybody.
trade any of us.
Yeah, and we're
Luka
all
got traded. Do you think you're safe?
That actually should be something you tell yourself on a daily basis, George. Luka got traded. It changed the whole game.
Everybody's
See?
tradable.
That's an affirmation.
There we go.
You're welcome. Evan Mobley, let's talk about that for a second. Obviously, you know him well. Defensive Player of the Year, the Wemby thing was a part of that. But is he just basically a write-in now for the next 10 years on all defense?
I mean, it's going to be hard to argue not. I mean, he does such a great job of defending on the perimeter and then protecting the rim. He was phenomenal this year. I mean, I think he took a huge step, not only offensively, but also defensively. He kind of cemented his will down there. Like, he protects the rim, he can guard on the perimeter, he gets steals. He kind of does it all down there. So I would say he's going to be up there along with Dyson Daniels for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's so
And-
mobile, right? He can switch 1 through 5. He's great weak side. He's great at the rim. Like, there's not really a hole defensive. He's got great instinct. So he does it all for this team. He's so young. He's so long. And he took that step for them in the regular season. Even I think Darius came on the show and he said he's been the X factor. He's the reason why they kind of had that historic run early in the beginning of the regular season. And it's because of the growth of Evan Mobley.
But they've also said, they being the Cavs, that he needs to take a step offensively, Lou. If he gets that step, figures it out and takes it, is he the best player on that team?
Say what now?
Yeah, I know. You hate these questions.
If he does 3 things.
If he if he moves, no,
Take a
offensively
shot,
gets
man. Take a
better.
shot.
Listen, I think as long as Evan Mobley is in a Cleveland Cavaliers uniform and Donovan Mitchell is, Donovan Mitchell is going to be considered the best player. No matter what he does, no matter what Garland does, I think those guys are all going to be trios and duos, whatever you want to call them, for a number of years to come. But I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be by far the best player considerably on that team.
Yeah, and I don't know if Evan Mobley's ever one of those guys that you have to run plays for him and you have to give him the ball. He's going to naturally go and get you 20
Who's
and
the
10.
last big man that's been like a dynamic scorer?
Yeah, but he can get a defensive
Shaq.
rebound.
Okay.
He could Joel Embiid.
and that was
He can get a defensive.
tripping.
He can
Joel,
Jokic.
Anthony Davis.
Lost my mind for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, like
tripping.
All of them. No, but he can get a defensive rebound. He can push it. He can start the break. He can initiate the offense. So I do think there's still potential offensively, but like he's not really one of those guys you're going to give the ball to unless it's a mismatch. His presence defensively is why he's key, but then he just does everything. He's a lob threat. He's a great offensive rebounder. So he does everything without necessarily getting play calls, which is huge.
I mean, listen, we saw what Donovan Mitchell did in the playoffs. 50, 40, 30 in games. You know, obviously Evan Mobley has taken steps, and I think what they were trying to say is, like, there's more growth to be had. And yes, he's
so young.
23.
Yeah.
He took a huge leap this year, and who's to say he's even scratched the surface of what he's going to be? So I think that's what they were trying to say. But at the end of the day, I'm going to agree with Lou. I mean, Donovan Mitchell.
As long as he's there.
Yeah.
As
And
long
look at
as he's
that,
there.
George, and you tried to not even mention his name a second ago. You gotta get over that. Hey, you gotta get over that hurt, George.
I know.
Get over that
I got a
hurt.
couple months.
Don't you at least get a season to get over? Like next year, he can be over.
No, I gotta
That's
be
a good
over it.
window.
I'm still salty with a couple teams. It's all
There
good.
it is.
I just don't even talk about it.
Grudges for life, ladies and gentlemen. On the all-defensive team, 3 guys under 23 years old. Good Lord. Thompson, Daniels, and Mobley. Who's got the most upside? Chandler?
I mean,
That's a tough one.
I love the Thompson twins. And you know what's crazy is usually it takes some maturity and some age to buy into defense, right? The fact that we have so many young studs that are willing to make
And Dyson
their
Daniels
name.
didn't even play. Like, he wasn't playing.
That's right. Like the fact that this is their calling on the defensive end and they're so young. Thompson really showed me something in the playoff. I feel like it went from like Jalen Green and Sengun to now like almost Thompson and Sengun, right? Like he's now like the untouchable one, and Jalen Green's the one that they'd, you know, get off of. But I love his game. He's so athletic. If they can develop a more consistent outside shot, they have everything else. They have good feel. They have good touch. They obviously are freak athletes. They defend. I'm talking about both of them too, because one of the Pistons also could have been
Agreed.
as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dyson Daniels. You know, I'm a homer on this one. You know, like
Now,
I
are you
just
going to
said,
change that next year if you get traded?
No, I would never do that.
Just checking.
You know, like I said to Chandler, I mean, he wasn't playing in New Orleans, and to come in and have that much of a defensive impact to where you're kind of in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, I just think, you know, the sky's the limit for
Didn't he win Most Improved Player too?
Yeah, so he's going to go for 2 awards.
Got a bright future.
Get greedy.
I like all 3 of these guys.
Oh,
I'll be honest.
Lou
Listen,
Switzerland every single time. Get off the fence, Lou. Running
But
for
look,
office.
all three of these guys are going to be stars to come in their own rights. Like Dyson Daniels, what he does on the defensive end is tremendous. If he's gonna, I'm about to go through the.
Lou, I swear to God.
I'm about to go through it. Beadle, let me go through it. I think he has great upside if his offense catches up with how impactful he is on the defensive end. But Amon Thompson is dynamic. He's incredible. I think he's gonna have the opportunity to grow his game more than a Dyson Daniels. They're actually gonna put the ball in his hands from time to time in certain scenarios. And obviously Evan Mobley, what he's doing, he's stretching defenses out to the 3-point line. If he can kind of bottle some of those things up, find an identity on the offensive end. Am I gonna be a stretch 5? Or am I gonna be an offensive rebounder? Is that how I'm gonna get my cheese? Or am I going to play in the mid-range? He's got to find his identity on the offensive end. So all of those guys have different things that they can work on that can help them with their upside.
Evan Mobley, I think, has the most potential to be like a star, right? Like he's already an all-star.
And I feel like that about Thompson.
He's on a good team. They're going to win a lot of games, as is Thompson. So it's got to be one of those.
But will you feel that way if Houston brings in like one of those
One of the big guys.
It might stunt his growth a little bit.
Don't say that.
By
the way, you think the other Thompson is mad now? Like, do you think this is going to cause a divide?
No, they're
between
connected.
Thompson?
They're connected at the hip.
That whole,
Yeah, they share success.
Twinning them?
I'd be pretty angry about
They
it.
sharing success.
We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, a new segment. Tell your friends, hurry. You're not going to want to miss this.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
All right, Steve Kerr said he's been asked to win and that Jonathan Kuminga is not a guy he would play heavy minutes at the moment to win games, which is weird since we saw what we saw.
He said that?
But yeah, are you buying that, Chandler? Are you buying what Steve Kerr said?
Let's go 4 minutes right here. Get it, Chandler.
It's one question.
I'm a big Jonathan Kuminga guy, and I
Samesies.
understand that when Jimmy Butler came there, that maybe kind of altered his production and his minutes. But the fact that I watched this team play, and when Steph Curry went out, he just plugged him right back in. He still had a level of success and professionalism to go do what he did in that series. Showed me all I need to know about Jonathan Kuminga, and he's a restricted free agent, and I hope that someone offers him a big deal that the Warriors probably won't match.
They will.
Or they do a sign and trade, which I think makes most sense for them, so at least they can get something back for him. But he's so young, dude, and again, he's raw. He's not like a system guy necessarily. He might not fit that offense and free flow and motion of the Golden State Warriors, but there's plenty of other teams and organizations that he will have a lot of success just on his raw athleticism and development as a player. I'm a big fan. So maybe in the Warriors he won't play, and that's proven. He literally got DMP CDs.
But when he did come off the bench, he was productive.
And when he was the
tryout.
guy, I think there was 7 games where he was the guys were out, he averaged over 30 points. So
Yeah.
he showed that with more opportunity, he can be more productive. So I hope for Jonathan Kuminga's sake he goes somewhere else, but also Warriors are going to want to get something back for him.
I mean, the Warriors have a system, right? And, you know, obviously it's playing smart. It's playing through Steph. It's playing through Draymond. And I think they're kind of at a point where you can fall in line, or, as Steve has shown, you fall out of the rotation. So I don't know what Kuminga is going to do at the end of the year. Obviously, there's some restrictions of being a restricted free agent. But I understand what Steve is saying, right? There is a system that he's had that's proven to win. And if he doesn't feel that, Kuminga fits that, then he's allowed to have opinion.
And that system is shooting and spacing, and that's not what he does best. He's a slashing.
So let him shine somewhere else.
Which I hope is that the case.
It's all about holding assets.
Yeah.
Lou, do you have anything you want to chime? You want to go on the next one?
Sure.
All right, let's go to the next one for Lou then. Denver is reportedly hesitant to trade the core members of that championship team, which is, of course, Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Porter Jr., Brown. Are you buying that they can get back to the finals with that core, Louis?
Well, I think Denver feels that way.
Clearly.
Again, OKC is the favorite to come out of the West. They just took them to 7 games. And so if you're looking at that, you're saying we're not as in bad of shape as we thought. I'm sure there's some things that they could shore up where they feel like they can put them in a better competitive position to compete with OKC moving forward. But again, if you got Jokic, you got Murray, you got Gordon, from there, I feel like then you start seeing what we can do, As far as MPJ goes, they got to figure that out. I've said it before on the show. I thought it was a little alarming that they asked Jokic about him being in tune to what was going on, him being engaged. And he said, if you need motivation to be engaged right now, that's a problem. So I started paying attention to it in a different lens from that place. So there is some places that I feel like they can get better. But again, if you take the best team to 7 games and you've already won a championship, I don't overreact to this, but I do feel like they can get better in a lot of spots. But, internally, I feel like they think that, this is enough.
But they've also admitted, Jokic said afterwards, too, like, we need more stuff. And Kroenke said we're way ahead of him on that. So they do know something has to change.
So when you say stuff, I always think about Bruce Brown. I think about KCP. I think about the guys that helped them win that championship, and you probably took them for granted a little bit. So now you got to go back out, and you got to find guys that fit that mold. Like Russell Westbrook was a great role player for them, but Russell Westbrook ain't no role player. That's a former MVP right there. He's wired a certain way. You got to go out there and go get guys that are wired for a certain type of job, and I think that's what they lacked.
Yeah.
And everyone buying that Edelman is now the coach?
Yeah.
Yay?
Yeah.
All thumbs up?
I mean, again, like Lou just said, they just pushed the best team left to a 7-game series. And yeah, they got smoked, but they were 1 game away from possibly winning another NBA championship with an interim coach. And I think they got the response that they wanted after firing Mike Malone. They got that jolt, they got that energy, and again, they took the Oklahoma City Thunder, who was everyone's favorite to win it all, to 7 games. So I think he's the guy, obviously, for the future. He just signed a deal. I think they respect him. They like him. He's young. He can grow with this team. But I do think they're a piece away. They need a couple more role players like a KCP type. And I think Michael Porter, he's kind of the guy that I think everyone grew frustrated with, that he'd be the one that they've bounced.
I think they need a veteran 3-and-D guy, because you look at what Bruce Brown and KCP brought. It was smart, a defender, someone who could make timely shots. I mean, Bruce Brown, people don't label him as a shooter, but it also seemed like he could make timely shots in their finals championship push. So I think signing Adelman and getting that piece done, now they trickle down the line and go from there.
Now it starts again. Sam Amick expects Bucks GM John Horst is going for blood and prefers to gut the team if Giannis does want a trade. Whew. Are you buying any team can afford Milwaukee's asking price and still be a contender?
Not with that attitude.
Man, that was very Game of Thrones.
Not with that attitude. If I'm the other 29 teams, y'all keep them.
Right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
now that I know what you're thinking.
Now that I know that you want everything that we have for them, y'all keep them and y'all deal with y'all issues internally. I'm cool.
The problem is, keeping them, they don't have enough. So I feel like they're thinking right now, okay,
Get something.
We have to get something.
Yeah.
Right?
But wouldn't you think he would approach this differently, though?
Yeah, he kind of showed his cards there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you say all that out loud, huh?
Exactly.
Seems like a private
Probably because
conversation.
he has no interest in.
He doesn't want to trade.
Actually, and we've seen all the mock trades, right, with the Golden States and the Houstons and the Spurs or Dallas. Like, there are some situations out there, but the dude makes a lot of money, so it's going to have to give up a lot. He's going to want to give up picks for him. Like, again, this is a 30-year-old dude that is obviously unbelievable at what he does, but what are you willing to give up to win right now?
Well, what do we give up for? What do we give up for Paul George? Like what? Like there's precedent of what's been given up for certain folks, and Giannis, I think, is.
Yeah, but I think you learn at that age. You learn from those deals and those mistakes, and giving up so much. Like think the Rudy Gobert deal. Mikal Bridges got crazy assets back
That's
there.
the thing.
There's
That's
so many
fresh.
deals now that I think teams are even more hesitant than they were before.
He's going to get a lot.
He's going to get a lot.
Well, you think he's going to the Spurs? So
No, I don't
What are they
think.
going to give up?
I know he's going.
Rattle some off.
They're going to have to give up
Rookie of the year
Hassel,
of
Johnson, second pick, 14th pick, and probably like other stuff.
We got stuff.
Well,
We got stuff. Lots of stuff. Dwayne Wade, speaking on
the Bucks might want Pop in that.
No, Pop can't touch Pop. Pop is San Antonio. That's not happening. He was talking about Jimmy Butler and the passiveness in that Wolves series that we all saw and talked about. He's getting $60 million, not looking at the basket. He likened his passiveness to how he played in the finals against Denver. Do we think now, looking back, that Pat Riley didn't want to extend him because he saw something like this? Chandler, you buying that?
I think it was a combination of everything. I think this personal relationship between Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler had gone sour, and it wasn't going to be a professional relationship, and there wasn't a level of mutual respect there for this to work, and it became too big of a distraction. And I think Golden State fleeced that trade. I think they won that trade, but his hand was forced. He had to do that, or he was going to lose him this summer for nothing. So at least he got an Andrew Wiggins. At least he got some assets back. But it's not fun to go to that workplace where you're constantly at it, where you're sitting out of stuff. It's unprofessional, and again, it's causing a distraction for the team and Tyler Hero and Bam and the Gross. So they have those two guys going forward. Again, Jimmy Butler's getting older in age. He might not be the player that he was. You saw with more opportunity in this postseason with Steph out. Jimmy Butler didn't really answer the bell. So who knows if they're right or wrong. I love Jimmy Butler as a player, as a person. He's had some drama everywhere he's gone, though. I think Pat Riley just had enough of it, and I think it was more personal than his actual basketball
From a
ability.
basketball standpoint, I'm with D. Wade on this one. I'm a scorer at heart. I'm a scorer to the core. $60 million, that should be worth 25 points a game. Can we all agree there?
100%.
Yeah, $60 million, you got to put 25 on the board for me, one way or another. Either you're going to give me 10 to 12 assists, or you're going to put 20 to 25 on the table. That should be a non-negotiable. So I understand, listen, when you are a superstar caliber guy, at whatever stage in your career, $60 million, we're expecting a certain level of production on both ends of the floor. Defensively, we know what you bring to the table. Offensively, I need just as much, if not better.
But this isn't like new. Like Pat Riley didn't want to extend
a great
to
point.
Dwayne Wade. So
It's a thing.
I mean, these guys have jobs too. I think that's honestly how I look at it. Like they have to look at what's best for the team, and players are like, I have to look at what's best for me. And I think Jimmy Butler looked at what was best for me, and they weren't offering him the money that he wanted. So, I mean, at the end of the day, negotiations are ugly, right? It's not pretty. And
You make a great point, but be careful, George. You're the only person up here still negotiating NBA contracts.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, listen.
Don't be on the other side of this thing.
No, I think you played that well. You played both sides. That was well done. Yeah.
But you're right.
But stop there.
Okay, done. Yeah.
All right, take a quick break. Wrap things up on the other side. Yeah, we got you.
Run it up, then run it back. Run it.
Minute key to tonight's game, Lou.
Don't get a big lead.
Don't lose. Next.
Yeah, don't lose. But
Points.
I'm excited about this game.
Absolutely.
New York Knicks are going to come out, steam coming out of their ears and their noses. This should be the game that we expect after game one. I think Knicks bounce back tonight, though.
Yeah,
George?
this is going to be like a tackle football game. The way the Knicks are going to come out and be aggressive. If they want to make this a series, they're going to have to win tonight.
God, yeah.
I agree. Clean sweep on the board over here. I like the Knicks.
Take those street signs down, New York. This. I'm telling you, you jinxed yourself. Sports gods don't like that. You can't be naming streets. Just get to the conference finals.
Knicks?
Who are you picking? Are you going with the
Pacers.
Jinx?
You hate it.
No, Knicks. Crap, I did it wrong again. George, it's been an absolute pleasure having
Thank you for
Has
having
it?
me,
Did you-
guys.
It was your idea. Did you enjoy yourself?
Thank you. No, I had fun. This was
Okay,
cool. I'm going
all
to
right.
get back to playing basketball.
All right, there we go. Have a great weekend and a holiday weekend at that. See you next week.
Then run it back, run it up, then run it back, yeah, yeah.